Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I'm gonna be honest. This episode was just all over the place for me. This episode was kind of boring. There were some parts that just straight up pissed me off. I don't even know where I should start with. Let's start off with Trina for a minute. Now I'm going to say some stuff that's probably harsh. And I know everyone is not going to feel the way I feel. And maybe Brock TV took a more lighter side than where I'm about to go. But I just got to sit there and say it. And I need to say it because I've been feeling it throughout this entire episode. Trina, I don't care anymore. I am so sick and tired of watching this woman whine and cry and complain. My mother lied. She did this. Shut up. Oh my God. I couldn't take it anymore. I literally could not take it anymore. It was just constant whining and constant, you're lying and you're doing this and maybe you should feel this way because you lied to me, you cheated on my dad and blah, 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 blah. There were so many times where Ava was like, listen, and here's the thing, Ava said the same thing that Portia said. So, why are they trying to treat this character like she's stupid? Ava was like, your mother doesn't have to tell you everything. This is the exact same thing that Portia said. You know we kept hearing out of Trina's mouth? But, shut up. Accept it. Your mother isn't perfect. And you know what? You're not perfect either. I couldn't sit there and listen. After a while, I just got on my phone because I was like, I can't listen to this woman just whine and complain that her mother cheated on her and her mother should have told her everything but I'm her daughter and blah blah blah. Just like, why are you making Trina like this? This is the type of crap I expect from Jocelyn. Okay? This is the type of crap that I expect from Jocelyn, not Trina. I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, after a while, she started acting like a whiny brat. Like, after a while, I just didn't care anymore. Oh my goodness. And you know, Ava was like, listen, you don't have to sit there and talk to her now. But you gotta talk to her soon. My goodness, I just like I can't deal with her. I really can't. She just got on my last goddamn nerves. Let's just move on. Just move on. Jason and Carly. There's one part where Donna called Jason daddy. And it was one of those things that was so awkward. It was so awkward. Now, throughout their conversation of them practically talking about nothing for a little bit, they start talking about Joey Novak and what they're going to do, and they're going to call a meeting for the 5 families so this way they can present a united front. Okay, fine. There's one point Carly asked Jason, because Carly was like, I heard Donna call you daddy. Are you okay with that? Is he okay? I literally just sat there and I was like, I paused it for a good hot minute, was just like she really just asked him that. And here's the thing, I didn't feel like she just asked him that like it was a question. I felt like she asked him that like she wanted him to sit there and say yes. I can't make this up. I really can't. I really felt like she wanted him to sit there and say yes. And I'm like, Jason, please say no. Please just say no. Because at some point, a shining light of reality just gotta sink in at some point, right? He actually said no. He was like, no, I'm not Sunny's replacement. I'm not going to sit there and replace him. You know, I'm going to love her and everything like that, but, you know, I'm not her dad. I'm not replacing her. And honestly, to tell you the truth, it looked like Carly was disappointed. Like, she really looked like she was disappointed. Like, I really felt like she would have been over the moon if Jason would have said yes, which would have been a whole cluster F in general if that would have happened. Now they're talking. They seem like they're getting into some sort of romance conversation or whatever. And I'm just like, you know, if this scene goes on any longer, I'm not going to be able to eat for an hour. I just... I mean, in general, you know, the fundamentals of those three, the structure, is just something that I don't think that any man worth his salt would ever be that okay with, as far as his wife, their wife, being that attached to another man. There's no way in hell I would ever. I don't think there's enough drugs in the world that could sit there and convince me to be like, no, that's cool. I understand that, you know, you love your best friend, whatever, and you're super close to him. Like, that type of connection, I don't feel like any man would ever be comfortable with that. But somehow in this show, they just said, screw it, let's just make it happen. And Sunny has been okay with that for, well, ever. You know, up until now, I never really looked at just how out of place their whole relationship is. And it's one thing to be best friends and have each other's back, but I feel like her love and her commitment goes way beyond that boundaries that any man should ever feel comfortable with. But, yeah. Now, I didn't sit there and say that this episode was also boring, and it is. It's weird, because it's like, the stuff that bothered me woke me up, because I was just that annoyed. And the other stuff just practically put me to sleep. I mean, I actually had to sit there and stop and try to eat something to wake myself up, because I was like... Some of it just kind of felt like torturous. It felt like I was being slowly tortured a little bit, trying to get through it, because... I mean, okay. The Scotty and Liesl stuff, yeah, you know, it's cute or whatever. You know, they got together, they got some stuff going on. I mean, there was one part that I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of laugh, and Scotty was like, "Yo, take that thing off. You got some curves on you." And I'm not gonna lie, I did laugh. But after a while, I was just like, all right, this isn't cute anymore. This is getting a little kind of... It's like, all right. And then Britt comes in, and Liesl tells Britt how she stood up for him, how she stood up for her as far as Jason. And it was like, alright, that's cool. I mean, I don't know if Britt felt mortified or she was just like kind of happy that her mother stuck up for her, but like either way after a while I was just like, alright, okay, alright. Spencer talked to Britt for a little bit and invited Britt to his party. And I'm just like, why the hell would she come to your party for? I mean, it's going to be a bunch of people that's 18 or 19. You don't think that's going to be a little awkward? Her just kind of just hanging out, chilling. Like, and you know, even Spencer was like, oh, you can sit there and meet somebody at the party. Really? Okay, alright, whatever. I'm assuming that she's probably going to go for some odd reason, because that somehow in her head makes sense. I do like their connection with each other. I think it is nice. You know, it definitely does show a different side to Britt. and it shows a different side to Spencer. Because with Spencer, sometimes it's like you don't know which version are you going to get. I mean, in the beginning, he was really sitting there reaming out Kevin. And while I understood, you know, how he felt, Ryan's actions, what Ryan did to Lulu, I get the anger, the resentment, and everything like that. But, you know, after a while, Laura's like, you know, you need to sit there and try to make peace with him. And, you know, he shook his hand or whatever. Now, at some point, because Spencer already had Nicholas' stuff packed, he was like, alright, I got your stuff, it's all here, you could just go. You don't even have to, you can just go. I'm not gonna lie, I found that a little kind of funny, like, damn, bro, I'm pretty sure he can pack it himself, or he has, like, you know, servants to do that. And I hate saying servants, but he does have people that can do that. You just really need to get him out the house that fast, right? But, Laura seemed like she was about to kind of poop on his parade by being like, hey, listen, I can hang out, I can chill, you know, like, I can be here, I can watch you and stuff like that. And Nicholas was like, no. Because Nicholas wants him to throw the party so that way he can catch him in the act. So he convinces Laura that, you know, he's a grown man, he can, you know, whatever. He wants his alone time, let him have it. And she agrees. Now, towards the end of the episode, Nicholas did come up to Ava and was like, because at first Ava was like, what are you doing here? Like, you know that the stalker is like, you can be watching us right now, and Nicholas was like, I know who the stalker is. You see in the previews, he says it's Spencer. So, I don't even know if this is the last scene, but, this episode felt very, anyway, and that's with Stella, Curtis, Portia, and Jordan. Portia is worried about her daughter, worried about, like, the fact that, you know, they're not on speaking terms right now, and she's just wondering when she's going to come, you know, when Trina's going to come around and talk to her again. And, you know, well, to be honest, Curtis doesn't really have much to say because he's not a parent. So he's just like, oh, I can be a shoulder to lean on or whatever. At some point throughout this conversation, throughout this scene, Portia does talk to Jordan and, you know, just try to get some, you know, words of wisdom pretty much. And Jordan was like, listen, don't push, let them come to you. They seem like they have a good talk. They talk about Stella, how both sorry they are, and yada 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 yada. Now, before Jordan left, you know, Portia was like, oh, maybe there's a good chance we could sit there and kind of save our friendship. Portia, really? Sweetheart, I like you, but, like, you are literally, like, you're literally with her ex-husband. And hell, the divorce papers haven't even been signed yet. And you talking about, nah, that's cool, we can still be friends. You know, there may be a chance we could be friends. Okay, Portia. You know, even Jordan was like, she smiled and she walked away like you can't be... Like, sometimes I sit there and just wonder, when people sit there and say things like that, do they really actually think before the words come out their mouths? And even after, they just not realize, just like, that was a pretty stupid thing to say. I really shouldn't have said that. Because she literally looked at Jordan like, no, there's a possibility we could still be friends. Watching Jordan walk off and her just looking like, yeah, I don't think that she gets it out. Stella's having a hard time trying to remember whatever it was that was important. Also, the stuff that she did as far as with her meddling, talked to Curtis about it. Curtis pretty much just forgave her for everything. Because, let's be honest, she's in the hospital. But just was like, listen, we're not, like, we're not getting back together, so I need you to kind of just understand that. And, you know, Stella feels bad about, you know, the rift between Trina and Portia. But, you know, Curtis like, nah, it's cool, they're strong women, they'll figure it out. They'll handle it. I mean, he had to sit there and say a lot of that stuff because, one, again, she's in the hospital, two, her health isn't really too good, and she doesn't need to be stressed out. So you kind of got to placate her a little bit, be like, nah, it's cool, you know, they'll work it out, it's, you know, things happen, and I'm fine, and we're all fine, or whatever. So, okay. Jordan came to see Stella and pretty much just like thanking her for her pushing, for Stella pushing her to try to give it one last go, and at least she could sit there and say that she tried. I'm just like, I feel like everyone's just being, I mean, I get it, everyone's trying to be nice to Stella because she's in the hospital, but you weren't having that energy, you weren't having that same energy when she was trying to push you the first time. But now, because she's in the hospital, everything's like, nah, it's cool, you're being feisty or whatever. And it was just like, alright, I guess we're going to sit there and kind of play this game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I never want the woman to be in the hospital. And I'll actually tell you the truth, knowing her health, she shouldn't have been doing half of the stuff that she was doing, getting herself all worked out, all stressed out, arguing with people half her age, like, certain things. You know, she should have kind of just know, you know, the know when to slow her roll, especially since she does have people in her life that loves her and cares about her. You know, she shouldn't have been pushing herself so hard so this way, you know, she could be there for the people in her life, but, you know, that happened, so, yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I have no idea what I'm forgetting, but I feel like I'm forgetting something. I mean, this episode wasn't bad, but it was a little kind of boring. The last couple of episodes have been boring. And granted, even when I sit there and say it's been boring, there's been things that have been going on. Like, there's stuff that has been happening that hasn't been like, alright, this is a total waste of time. But I feel like it's one of those things, like, can Ryan just, like, wake up and just start doing stuff so this way it can wake me the hell up, you know? And I felt like this is what today's episode was about. Like, I mean, I felt like this was another one of those episodes just like, alright, some stuff happened, it was kind of interesting, but for the most part, it was like, it could have been better. It could have been better than what it was, and I, you know, I always sit there and look at this show. This show has been on for like, damn near nearly 60 years plus. About 60 years. I feel like, as fans, you know, I get that, you know, all the episodes aren't going to be amazing. But I feel like as fans, especially people who have been watching this for years, we're going to sit down and watch your show for an hour. Give me something. You know? Give me something good. Not this 20-minute, dragged out, whatever you want to sit there and call it, storyline. This boring stuff that's going on, where not a lot of stuff is really moving forward. And then, like, maybe the last 15 minutes of it, you might decide to wake me up. Like, stuff like that is what annoys me. But anyway, with that being said, I think that's pretty much about it. You know, it's so funny. Usually sometimes I'll sit there and check out Brock TV's review and be like, oh, what do you think of it? You know, just see if there's anything that like, I kind of missed or whatever. And today I was just like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to just come out straight, raw emotions, and just kind of just put it out there. Because, you know, sometimes I'll sit there and watch his videos, his reviews on the episode. You know, and sometimes it'd be like, you know, I really loved this episode was great. And sometimes I'll be like, did we watch the same thing? Because, like, did I miss something? I get it, we have two different perspectives, and, you know, that's cool and everything like that. But today I was like, you know what? I know that he's probably going to put a more positive spin on this episode than it deserves, and I cannot do that. But yeah, anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.